It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
Trucking on through the summer.
That's right.
Larry, man, what's going on with you, man?
It's hot. It's hot wherever you go.
Everywhere.
And just for the record, most people don't know that corn adds to the humidity. Now it's not quite like down south, but it's worse than you think. And I want to make sure I'm right about this. Let me get this little factoid as we cover some ground here.
Yeah.
This year's maturing Iowa corn crop will pump an average of 46.9 billion gallons of water per day into the atmosphere.
46.9 billion?
Gallons of water in the atmosphere. So it makes it really hot and humid.
46.9 billion gallons a day?
Yes, that's what the Iowa National Weather Service is saying. So this can add up to the temperatures. It can produce a heat index of 100 to 105. My point is, I was in this weird space where it gets cold in the winter, but also very humid in the summer. Like we're going to have 100 and something heat index of 105, but also this winter we're going to have wind chill of minus 35. You shouldn't have to live like that. It should be one or the other. But anyway, other than that, I'm doing great. It's always good to be here.
That 140-degree swing. That's just
like it's wild, man. It is wild. Because I remember the first time I came, Kate said, it gets hot here. I'm like, it don't get hot in the Midwest. I'm from the South. And I rolled up like, oh, it's not quite Memphis hot, but it ain't that far.
Man.
That heat and humidity just hit you.
Just learned so much about the Midwest, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Conveying so much knowledge to us down here.
That's right.
Up there.
That's right.
We're here every week, Cats Talk Wednesday, brought to you by the BS3 Network. We put our guest in the BS3 Network green room. We got a guest coming up here in a few minutes, friend of the show, UK defensive backs coach Chris Collins is going to hop on here. Had a fun conversation with him. It's been a little over a year ago. It was right after the spring game last year he came on and joined us for the first time, and we had a lot of fun. So get his thoughts on the team and how everybody's progressing. Fall camp is coming. Fan day is in a couple of weeks, so it's about that time, TB.
Yeah, absolutely. It's football time in the Bluegrass almost.
It is.
All the media days going on. The Big 12, they expanding, they not expanding, whatever.
Yes, I can't really keep up with who they're trying to get or who's trying to get out of there. And what's San Diego State doing? Are they in the Mountain West? Are they leaving? I can't. It's just can't keep up with everything, man.
No, and that's the beauty of being the SEC. You ain't got to. Ain't nobody coming to take no SEC team. That's not the way that works.
That's right.
We ain't got to worry about our viability, right?
That's right.
And if you're a Vanderbilt fan, maybe there are a few. Hey, praise whoever you believe in. Be thankful that Vanderbilt happened to the SEC.
Yeah, they got 8 first-place votes. So, speaking of though, we got in the green room. A friend of the show joined us a year and change ago. He's back, kind enough to join us again. We got UK defensive backs coach Chris Collins hopping on with us. Welcome back, Coach.
Hey, I appreciate you. How was your summer, man?
We're just trying to stay cool, man. That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it, man. Waiting for football to start.
I'm with you on that one. It's here, man. What you talking about?
I stand corrected, Coach.
Yeah. Oh, messing, man. You guys well?
Yeah, yeah. And as far as you're concerned, I mean, you had some time off. I know y'all back at it. Were you able to truly legit, or were you just itching to go the whole time you had your time off?
The old saying, it never stops. But no, me and the family, the wife and my son, we got a chance to get home to North Carolina, see some family, and then we got a little vacation time for ourselves. So it was good, man. But at the end of the day, man, the season's always right around the corner. So we enjoyed the time that we had, but ready to roll now that July's dwindling down quickly.
Absolutely.
I gotta ask real quick, just because I'm a third, so I gotta ask how Christopher the Third is doing, because that's my guy now. How's that man doing?
Yeah, man, he's doing well, man. He growing up too fast, but no, it's been fun to watch for sure. We had the guys over yesterday, and they get a little competitive. We were playing Taboo, and they going back and forth. Hey, timer went out, and nah, I got the answer in, and Christopher's down here. Daddy, they too loud. Daddy, tell him to be quiet. I said, go over there and tell him yourself. So he's starting to get his personality. It's funny to watch, kind of how he changes and grows every few months. His personality changes. So, but it's definitely a blessing. I appreciate you asking.
Absolutely, man. TV jumping. I just had to ask about my man Chris 3, man.
Yeah,
I know we are excited for football season. There seems to be a different vibe around the team the last few years. So as we go from July to August, and hey, at the end of August, games become for real. Yeah, how are you feeling with the guys that you've got on the back end of the defense?
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody kind of the same deal, man. Everybody feels real good right now. Season hadn't quite got here. Everybody's itching to go. Ask me the same question come middle of November, and I'll give you an honest answer. But no, I'm messing, man. Our guys, man, I think you hit the nail on the head about the energy, man. Our guys are excited. They've worked extremely hard this summer. A really good spring. We had some big pieces come in and join us in the spring, and I were able to kind of slowly plug those pieces in, and guys are starting to identify roles, and had some really good momentum coming out of the strength program with Coach Ed, Coach Hill, and those guys. Really started to learn the investment aspect in terms of take care of your body, film preparation and living in the building. And so it's been encouraging to watch. It was funny. We were talking, at the house when the guys came over, and they were like, Coach, man, you didn't take no vacation. I thought, man, you might be right. I didn't miss, but one workout all summer, man. So we've been working, and so we're excited about, the opportunity that we got in front of us. At the end of the day, that's what it is, so that's why I say the joke of, hey, man, come ask you that come November, and I'll give you an honest answer. But again, man, we're excited. The guys been working hard, got a talented group who's young and hungry and eager to show what they can do.
So tell us about your new guys. You mentioned you got some guys that you got to acclimate in, some guys from some other schools coming into the portal, coming into your room. So how's that fit, that transition, and what do they bring to the table?
Yeah, it's been good, man. We got, I think after losing two guys, in Carrington Valentine and Keidron Smith, all SEC corner, both playing, in the NFL right now. Those big shoes to fill, but for us, man, we got guys who've been in the system, with Andrew Phillips and Maxwell Harrison, who've grown in the system and have matured, physically and mentally. Drew, coming off a really good year playing majority nickel, being able to have more versatility in his game, playing inside, playing outside. Max has had a heck of a spring. He played sparingly for us, played a lot in the bowl game, and had some really promising reps. And so, excited about his growth. And like I said, he's really taking hold to maximizing what he needs to do in the weight room on a consistent basis to be able to use all the God-given ability that he has, in between those white lines. And so, and then Jordan Robinson was another one that actually he came into last year as well, but needed the spring and took tremendous strides in the spring. And so Big long kid, man, 6'3" plus, 32 plus inch arms. They can run and jump, and again, figuring it out. In terms of the preparation mentally, in terms of the preparation physically it takes, to be successful in the SEC. And then we're able to add a few more guys from the portal that you mentioned. JQ Hardaway is one that's, JQ has come in. And, sometimes you don't know, when you get guys from the portal, we try to be really intentional, right? We try to vet guys, do our research, when we get an opportunity. So we're making sure we're protecting our culture. But you don't know, when you bring guys in, man. But JD and JQ both, JD coming from Ohio State and JQ coming from Cincinnati, man, have been great additions to the room. Number one, great teammates. JQ's been phenomenal, competitor, hungry to learn. It was amazing how much he's grown, and he was actually in the meeting room today watching film on his own. And I just happened to walk by to ask him about something else. And we started talking. I was like, Coach, man, just looking at some of this stuff from the spring and how much I know now, I was like, it should be that every year. You know what I mean? It should be that way every year where you continue to grow, continue to learn, continuing to be a sponge. And so excited about both of those guys, man. They both bring different attributes in terms of their ability. JQ being really long, physical corner, who can play a lot of different things. JD, Jansen Dunn, who came to us from Ohio State, really long as well, not quite as tall, but the length is very similar. A little bit more sudden in terms of lateral change of direction. Gives them versatility to play inside, play outside. But again, at the end of the day, all those pieces, we brought some freshmen in as well, with Nasir Addison and Jeremiah Anglin, guys who have come in and again, really fit the culture, most importantly, being great teammates and willing to find out whatever they can do to help us be successful in the back end. And so what that does for us, man, is it breeds competition, and at the end of the day, that's what allows guys to grow. And that's what allows us to put the best, product on the field on Saturday. And so we're excited about competing and earning some stripes come this fall.
Well, one thing you've mentioned a lot there, Coach, is being physical. And that seems to be the new hallmark of Kentucky football. Mm-hmm. I'm all the way out here in Iowa. Yeah. And, who we seem to play every year in the bowl game, right? Yeah. But we've got a friend of the show, a real good friend of mine that covers Iowa. The takeaway from playing Kentucky is they're physical. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that was always the case when it came to Kentucky football. It's not so much the razzle-dazzle is we're going to beat you up for 60 minutes. If you win, cool. If we win, cool. But when you play Kentucky. And that's what it sounds like you're saying for a lot of these guys, even on the back end of the secondary, which we don't always think about being physical. But that's an aspect of it as well.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I think, to the point that you mentioned, that's Coach Stoops' MO as a program. And then, beneath and as that thing kind of trickles down with Coach White, his MO as a defensive coordinator, he want to be long, athletic and physical guys. And so that length allows you to put hands on people, and the longer those arms are, the more force they come with, you know what I mean? And so they allow you to be, guys who can finish plays on the perimeter. We talk about reception point, being able to get the ball off of guys, get guys on the ground. Not always, you're playing against some talented athletes. So you're not always going to have those clean angles and clean shots. You got to have some length to be able to get some guys on the ground. And so, that's a big part of who we are, not only as a culture in terms of program and physicality, but that's something we hang our hat on defensively. And that's at every level, that's at every level. And so that's something that we've harped on throughout the spring of getting really back to that mentality. Of being physical, being tough-minded. And again, I think, just looking at the room and how they've attacked it throughout the spring, physical aspect of practicing, learning, getting better. And then the summer, right, to where you can see a big growth in your physical in terms of your body structure, really attack that and understand how important that aspect is of the weight room. Because sometimes the DB, man, that can get lost, man. I like to play. I don't necessarily the weight room. But nah, man, our guys really invested in everything that Coach Ed and Coach Hill have given those guys and using those resources. And so, again, excited about where we are and look forward to that competition going into fall camp and coming out of it.
Like TB said, you the thing physicality. You mentioned that a lot. You also mentioned length, which that's you continue to get taller and longer. Not seeing the Darrell Green type corners at Kentucky anymore. The 5'8" short, stocky dudes. Those guys. It's more longer, taller, lean, angular guys. And you also mentioned versatility. So these guys, I guess, do they allow you and Coach White to tinker? Do you have options? Do you want to leave them on the island? Y'all play a lot of zone. I guess you got guys that allow you to just to really scheme and get like, ooh, y'all can really tinker.
Yeah,
guys, right?
Right, man. Coach White's like the mad scientist,
Yeah.
when it comes to defense, man. Sometimes the secondary come like, hey, ho, okay, now, we got to bring it. They ain't going to do it all. Nah, I'm messing with you. But he's in terms of, seeing big picture, man, and being able to put all the pieces together, one of the best, if not the best I've ever been around, witness in terms on an everyday basis, man. Not only just the X's and O's, but the management of the whole structure of the defense. How to get the most out of guys, how to put them in position to be successful. I think like it speaks to a guy like Andrew Phillips. He talked about a guy whose stature is not very tall, but he's long limbed, long arms, really explosive, twitchy, sudden guy. And so, last year, Coach White put him in a position where he could grow and build confidence, in terms of playing in the slot, not playing as much out wide when you had two, really good corners out wide. And so played in the slot, built a lot of confidence going into this season. He always had the ability to play outside, right? But now he sees his versatility, right? How they play similar versus how they play differently, right? And then bringing in guys, into the program who have similar type ability, I think is important. And then those guys being able to see that maturation process as well, so they can see themselves as not just I'm just a corner. No, I'm a defensive back. I can play anything in this back end because the fundamental pieces of defense are the same, right? And so now it's about being able to hone into those individual fundamentals and techniques and then plug and play, and put guys in position to where, hey, when you're young, some things you do really, really well because God bless you and you've always worked at that skill set of that fundamental. As you grow, right, understanding the other fundamentals, okay, that come along with playing in different areas, you got me, and then understanding when and how to use those fundamentals gives you that versatility. And so, that's, I think, where we made a big step in the spring is understanding, when and why and how to use those fundamentals and those skill sets that they do have and they have been blessed with, and then how to focus to make those things elevate, in terms of schematics, in terms of what the other team's giving me, in terms of what I understand, not just my piece, but the pieces around me.
Makes sense. Now, you take a guy like Kevin Durant, and you have, I know it's crazy, I'm switching to basketball, but guys defend him. You always hear him say, well, I try to make him work. I try to make him take tough shots. You can't really stop a guy like that. He's a matchup nightmare. So on the football side, you mentioned a lot of great athletes, a lot of matchup nightmares out there. Just say take a Brock Bowers at Georgia. A too big for a linebacker guy, too fast for linebacker, too big for safety kind of guy.
Yeah.
Do you approach it as if it's a KD, or we just got to make it tough on him, or we're going to clamp this dude, or let him get his and don't let the rest beat us? How do you guys approach? Because you get it every week. There's a grind. You got some unicorns over there. That's right. And you got to pick and choose how you want to defend them. So what is your guys' approach to a matchup nightmare type dude when you're facing them that week?
Yeah, and I mean, that's a great question. That's kind of the beauty about being in the SEC, man. And that's why, it takes a special-minded, individual young man to be able to play in this league, because every week, you're going against some grown men who, in some element are a matchup nightmare, you know what I mean? And so it doesn't change. He's one of the, the elite tops of the tops, but every week, man, you're facing them. And so I think the most important thing is that confidence, for your guys. I think that's where the foundation starts, and that's something that we're constantly building, by putting them in tough situations throughout practice and understanding that, hey, we're putting you in a disadvantage intentionally, We want to see you fight out of this down. We want to see you trust your fundamentals. We want to see you trust the preparation that you put in to go out there and make that play. And then they start making those plays. As young pups, man, they struggle, as young pups, because they haven't been in those situations enough, right? And then as they grow, they get more confident in the fundamentals of the game, because at the end of the day, that's what bail you out. And so then as you get into, all right, those guys can manage those pressure situations, those downs, to where, hey, we put you in a bad situation intentionally in practice, right? Back against the wall type scenario. All right. So we know, number one, that you can do it, and vice versa, that that you can do it. And then as you start to get into game plans of individual opponents every week, you try to give your guys as many tools as possible, as many tips as possible, to go out there and take advantage of maybe one or two things that they saw on tape, and that's a lot of times, man, that's the difference in the game. It boils down to about 60 plays being a wash, right? And you got 10 plays within a ball game that really determine the outcome, especially in our league. And so, trying to take advantage and tilt that in those 10, 15 plays in our favor somehow, some way. And so it's different every week, in terms of how you approach it. When you are specifically talking about a guy like Brock at Georgia, they do a great job of finding ways to get him the football. And so I think awareness is a really big deal in terms of, hey, you can't just put one guy on, because they can hide him and put him in all different places, to where they can dictate the matchup that they want, because it's offense, right? And so what we try to do is be intentional about having awareness of where those guys are and how they want to get them the football, and understanding those when they're happening, when they're getting them the ball, so you can play with, hey, the call says I got him on this down, let's go. I'm a grown man too, right? I want that smoke. I want it all, man. And those are the guys we got in the locker room who don't back down from it. But now it's our job as coaches to equip them, right, and give them the best opportunity to be successful. And at the end of the day, they're going to win some. Guess what? We're going to win some too. All right. And so that's the fun part about competing in this league. And so understanding that, I think as a defensive back is vital, because it's the closest position to baseball, man. You know what I mean? Like you're going to fail a lot, right, to have a little bit of success. And so that's the reality of it, but the best thing is to learn from that failure and not let it define you. And so that's something that I think grows. We talk about earning your stripes and getting calloused over and touching that hot stove a few times. And so that's something that happens throughout a career, to where guys continue to build from that. But, putting them in those predicaments in practice, I think really, really helps. Really, really helps that.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a way to, if you can't handle it there, you'll either find out if they can or can't, like you said, then know what they're capable of on Saturdays, for sure. He doesn't, come into your room, but he's on that side of the ball. But just tell, the difference in JJ Weaver.
Yeah.
I mean, the transformation he's made, and do you see maybe a big year coming from that dude?
Man, I'm excited for JJ. I really am. It's funny, everybody kind of has a different, we talked about it earlier, little maturation process, right? Their continual growth. And, I'm really excited to see how it's all kind of started to come together for him, in terms of going into this last season. He's playing. Last year, I thought mentally he was playing at a high level. In terms of starting to see it, his body still hadn't quite gotten to the level that it's at right now. And so now to be able to see, okay, now he's thinking the game at a high level. He's locking into the small, minute details that allow you to take your athleticism to a different notch. And now his body's starting to turn that maturation corner, really hitting that grown man strength and that grown man size. And so it's fun to watch. Like I said, everybody's, process is different in that, and it's hard to get 18-year-old, 22-year-old kid, young men to understand that, going from a kid, teenager to a man. Sometimes it happens, in that second semester. Sometimes it doesn't happen to the conclusion of all four. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Everybody is different, but continual growth in that. You know what I mean? And not saying, well, it's got to look like this. No, man, your process is your process. And JJ's been a tremendous testament to that, you know, on the field and off the field, you know, having to go through some adversities off the field that made him a stronger man and definitely have made him a stronger football player, you know, because those go hand in hand, you know. So, no, man, I'm really excited about JJ. He makes our job a lot easier on the back end, you know. But outside of that, man, again, to see the work that he's put in and, you know, the consistency and understanding that, you know, my path may be different than what anybody else expected, but I'm going to run my race, you know. And so, man, I am excited about what he's going to do and how he's going to help lead this defense this upcoming fall.
You about to say something, TV?
Oh no, I'm excited for football, to be honest with you. As long as we don't play Iowa, so I can have a happy home. But the folks here in Iowa, because you know Coach Stoops played at Iowa, all the Stoops, the fans absolutely love Coach Stoops and what the job that he's done in Kentucky. There's just respect nationally that I don't want to slight the players and coaches that came before, but I think it's different. There's just a different, you know, I watched the media days. Missouri is using us as a measuring stick, right? South Carolina using Kentucky as a measuring stick. Like beating Kentucky, it means a lot, you know, and I just love the way the program is progressing from, oh, that's just Kentucky. Like, no, we got to beat Kentucky to achieve what we want to do.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, I agree, man. I think Coach Stoops, you know, has definitely, you know, set the bar in terms of the SEC, in terms of how to build it, you know. And so, and he talked about it at media day and you know, understanding that we still, you know, we in our locker room, right, in our building, we still have a long way to go to where we want to get to, and we have goals that we want to accomplish. But understanding again that we talk about that process, you know, and not slighting that process, you know, and enjoying that process and not getting caught up on just what those goals are, but what is the process of getting to it. And I think, you know, you can see that, you know, through Coach Stoops' tenure here, you know, that process and how he's been consistent in it, and how he's been holding on to that identity of the program throughout that process, you know, tough, blue collar, physical, you know, brand of football, you know.
I'm going to switch to the other side of the ball for just a little bit. I mean, I know y'all going at it throughout the week. They got to see y'all got to see them. But come Saturday, you know, it's all for a common goal for the blue and white. But tell us about that receiver room, because outside of themselves, y'all know them pretty much better than anybody after going up against them every day. So talk about this receiver room. Like TV said, the perception is changing. You know, it's getting a little bit of notoriety from national talking heads, from SEC talking heads, and various other markets outside of Lexington. So talk about these guys that y'all are trying to clamp down every day, and that other opponents are gonna have to see every Saturday.
Yeah, man. I think our receiving core, you know, is one of those old sayings, man. Iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? And so, you know, we definitely getting sharp. Because those guys talented, man. You know, you got Dane Key, Barryon, you know, you got Tavian, you know, those are, you know, the three-headed monster to speak. But then you add, you know, guys like DeKale, man, who can run, who can really catch the football. Yeah, Anthony Brown has come in the spring as a true freshman, man, and done some really, really good things. And so been able to build some depth, and excited about some of the young guys, Shamar Porter and those guys who come in that we've been able to see just through workouts in the summer, and what they'll add to the room as well. But no, man, those guys stretch the field vertically. You know, they enjoy playing football, and that's a big part of it, man. Guys, you know, at this level, loving the process of playing is important, man, because, you know, college football is a grind, you know, and so that every day of, hey, man, we're going to go out here and compete to get better. And I think that helps us on the back end in terms on the defensive side of the ball, because it keeps us sharp, you know what I mean? And so it doesn't get stale. It's no stagnant days. You know, if you don't bring your A game, you can get exposed. And And then defensively, man, it's fun, you know. And so but again, those guys work to tail off. Shoot, man, Scott does an amazing job of getting those guys prepared to go out there and compete, and they're wired the right way, you know, in terms of they love the game and love to compete. You know, Dane, Barryon, those guys, you know, are really excited about, you know, the next step and building that chemistry with Devin and so on and so forth. And so, you know, we've got some guys that can catch football both at the receiving room, tight end room, and at the running back room. So, you know, excited about what they're going to be able to put together.
Absolutely. I got another receiver question. I talked to Keenan Burton the other day, Kentucky legend, second all time in pretty much every UK receiving category to only Craig Yeast. And he said himself he thinks that he's still better than Craig, and he wasn't afraid to say that on camera on the podcast. But he said, but I was asking him about, you know, the old school receivers, how another reference to baseball, you know, the pitcher wants to make his fastball and his changeup look the same arm angle, wants to look the same, makes it, you know, harder for the batter. The receivers coming off the line, Torrey Holt, Jimmy Smith, Isaac Bruce, you don't know if it's going to be a go, you don't know if it's going to be a hitch, you can't tell coming off the line. So I asked him about that, but his answer was interesting. I'm going to try to play it. If you can't hear it, I'll paraphrase it. But his answer was really interesting, and I knew I wanted to get your thoughts, being a DB coach, getting the ins and outs and the nuggets of what he said. But I'll see if you'll just get your insights on what he said.
It's different now. It's not about looking the same anymore. It's about deception. You know, a guy might line up in a certain split now, and he might line up in a close split and run a fade. He might line up in a close split and run a slant. The way the routes are ran now are totally different than they were ran when I played, and the game has changed. And so I would say it's really about understanding the type of offense that you're running and understanding where you need to be. You don't even necessarily have to confuse the DB anymore if he's off. The concept confuses him. You know, a lot of times now the inside receivers, when it comes to routes, it's an option route. So they're being placed on a safety or a linebacker. And so I don't know. I've been so far removed from the style of route running for such a long time. And when I watch it, it's kind of confusing to me because it's totally different in the way that I ran routes. Totally different. And then they got all of these different, and see, I'm going to go on my soapbox real quick because they got all these different receiving gurus that teach all of these different concepts and steps and jumping off bags and swinging water bags and releases. Like, all of that goes out the window when you stand Richard Sherman or Darrelle Revis or Charles Woodson in the eye. All of that goes out the window. Then they're just playing football, you know. But maybe I'm not the guy to answer that question because I'm disconnected. I'm disconnected because when I see it, I'm confused. I'm very confused. So I don't know.
So I really thought that was interesting. Just, you know, just hearing him go in depth on it. And if they can confuse DBs just by the concept now, and it's changed that much, then how have y'all had to change and evolve in defending that? I guess is my question for you.
Yeah, no, that's a great take, man. I think that's college football kind of in a nutshell. You know, I don't think that's necessarily NFL game. You know, in a nutshell, I think there are some things in terms like systemly, you know, some systems that you can hide some of those. I don't want to say lack, but kind of unintentional to detail. That in the NFL, everybody's really good. You know what I mean? And so you can't quite hide those things. And so I think that was kind of Coach Stoops' mentality of having, you know, NFL guys as coordinators, right? Because we're concentrating on those details, right? And the scheme, right, kind of elevates, you know, guys who are able to understand those details, right? And so he did make a great point in terms of, hey, the splits are different. The option routes are, you know, in terms of, you know, attacking leverages. But, you know, we talk about it defensively when you ask the question about Brock, right? At Bowers at Georgia, right? It's really important for our guys to say, okay, how and when, how are they getting in the ball? right? When are they getting him the ball? Understanding, okay, yes, the down and distance situation tells me this. Let me take off these 18 other routes that I could possibly get and worry about these 5, and so I think that is the our style of teaching, our approach to playing the game is, hey, understand, the schematics, yes, but also understand the details that go along with playing within those schematics, where the pieces around. And he talked about, like, for a receiver, right? Understanding leverage is really important, right? Okay, based off of what the defense is doing, how is what we're doing offensively trying to tell me what they're doing defensively? So now I can go the right way on this option route. Does that make sense? And so I think it's become more of a intellectual pre-snap, post-snap thinking mentality, to where it was just, hey, just line down and go play, and so scheme can kind of help that, or it can take away from that, right? It can take away all the thinking from it. Just say, hey, line in this space and line in this split and go, right? And because of this spacing and this timing or whatever, it should tell itself. And if it doesn't, then you won't get the football. You know what I mean? But being in the NFL's coordinators, right, or with Liam and with Coach White, understanding, right, that teaching aspect of, okay, let's understand the details, not just the schematics, I think is our approach, to being able to combat that, if that's from a defense, but I know from offensively as well, because you'll get 4 or 5 different concepts from the same spacing, but now, okay, defensively, all right, they ran 4 or 5 different concepts from that same spacing, but when and why did they do those things? Okay, they did it versus they got these 3 concepts in this situation. Whoa, okay, now I don't got to worry about 5, I only got to worry about 3. You know what I mean? So those things I think are the where college football is somewhat grown, but again, I do see its other half of it, into where the schematics in terms of the system, right, could hide some of those things for you as well. And so I think that's what Coach Stoops' MO in terms of getting NFL coordinators in our program, right, because they're able to think and teach those things. So when our guys do get to that highest level, it's not their first time hearing it. They haven't been kind of boxed in by a system. They've been forced to process things or early and often in their career. Like I said, so a freshman, they may come in and, whoa, it's a lot. All right. And now it's our job as coaches, right, to compartmentalize that, right, and give it to them in small buckets, right? And now they can understand, okay, instead of trying to see this big picture, let me focus in on this small bucket, but understand that bucket can continue to grow, right? And what goes into those buckets, so on and so forth. And so
Good stuff. Now I gotta ask you. You've been in, Kentucky for a while now, so the rivalry with Louisville is real. The rivalry with Tennessee is real. I'm sure you have fans telling you that quite often if you're out and about. So as far as Tennessee is concerned, I hate giving them credit for anything, but what is it that they do? With their offense, sometimes you see 2 guys go with one, or you get a missed assignment, or you get a blown coverage. And for the fans watching, like, man, how they get open? What did they do? What happened? What is it they're doing? And I know we get them at home this year, and we're gonna have a little something for them. But what is it that they do that kind of poses problems? And it's all about matchups and all that. But what is it that they do?
Thank you. C3's telling y'all hello.
What's up, Chris?
Yeah, preseason camp, man. I get a little downtime. We get to do some of the stuff at the house. But no, man. To answer your question with Tennessee, I think they've done a really good job of mastering who they are offensively. I think for their offense, man, Coach Heupel and those guys, man, I think it starts with the quarterback. Quarterback understanding what they're. Again, we talked about earlier, like their schematics, right, are allowing them to do. And I think to answer your question, when it's like, man, what are they doing to be able to get guys free and, and be able to have defenses, cut guys loose, so on and so forth. I think the main thing they do is go fast, and so I think that's the that's kind of their offense's world in terms of, hey, they can use that as an advantage to be able to go fast and defensively, right? As we're known as kind of counter punchers, right? They're trying to deliver a blow. It doesn't always let you get your cleats in the ground and get your eyes set and all that good stuff. And so preparing for that intentional, I think is something that we've grown, because it was something new.
Yeah.
All right. Something that we've grown as a staff and continue to get better at. But I think those are two main things that, that have helped them in their success. And again, they're a good program that's, again, that knows their identity and is sticking to it, So now it's our job as, defensive coaches and accepting that challenge and continuing to grow. And, I'm excited again about where our guys understand, okay, why they're doing what they're doing, because it's different, right? It's different than what you see on a week in and week out basis. But why are they doing it, right? They're trying to get your eyes in the wrong place by going fast, right? By getting your line down. And it's not a lot of things that they do, but they do it really fast. And, for the quarterback, he has to be able to dissect things quickly because it is going fast, and they do have over splits and all that stuff. And so now as a defense, how do you combat that? And so, those two elements, I think people didn't give, Hooker as much credit as he deserved in terms of a quarterback, being able to manipulate, put the ball in the right place at the right time, and the timing throws that he was able to make. And so I think those two things go hand in hand, but the tempo number one is huge, man. And, I was watching, SEC Media Day, and I see Joe throwing it all over y'all. I'm like, my goodness, man, dude, throw it out the end zone if you need to, man. So, you got another challenge in that. But again, man, it's fun. It makes it fun. And at the end of the day, man, that's what it's about, that competition and going out there and putting the hat on the hat and playing physical and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my last question for you. You mentioned you got to go back home to North Carolina on downtime with the family. I don't know who your hometown rocks with, if it's North Carolina State, Duke, Wake Forest, whoever it is over there. But have you converted some of them over to Kentucky now that you're on the staff? Have you got some of them rooting for the Cats over there in the hometown?
Oh, most definitely. My family's loyal to wherever we're at. You know what I mean?
Right.
All the way from the D2 days, man. They were Catawba fans through and through, man. They got Catawba Indian stuff all throughout the house. Now it's Big Blue Nation everywhere. So, you talk about just where people went to school and growing up. We grew up, in North Carolina. Both my parents, and so uncles and cousins and all that good stuff. But when it comes to football, man, they Big Blue Nation through and through. Now I can't say anything about any other sports. I can't say anything about that. I know football, they Big Blue Nation through and through. And so, but it's fun. It definitely is, man. And they get excited, and that's the beauty thing. That's the beautiful thing about family, man. They excited about, as long as you're happy, they're happy. You know what I mean? And so my wife and I have been tremendously blessed in our time in Lexington. And so I think they, and I know that they're excited for us and excited about this new season coming up.
Good stuff, Coach. We're glad to have you. Appreciate everything you're doing. And I'll let you get back to the family. Get there at the house with the little man and the wife. So can't thank you enough for hopping on with us. We always enjoy chopping it up with you and hearing your insights, man.
I appreciate you guys, man. You guys keep this thing rolling, man. All right, keep it rolling, man, and keep them Iowa fans off of ATB. All right,
I got to. I let them know. we ain't scared.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks so much, Coach, man.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
All right.
DB's coach Chris Collins in here, man. Always fun talking with Chris, man.
Yeah, man. Always dropping some knowledge, and I think that just hearing him talk, it makes me understand we don't know as much as we think as lay people.
No.
And even though you might have played in high school, it's different. What he's talking about as far as schemes and is completely different than just give the fastest kid the ball, right? Like, and it's just different from fans. Like, there's a reason why teams have success, and you have to put in that work.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's always good when someone who is knowledgeable about their craft and is passionate about their craft comes on and shares it with us.
Yeah, it's fun listening to when you get two people on that same level, they're back and forth, the dialogue, or that's why I hope it wasn't too long. But I wanted him to hear that clip because what Keenan was saying, because hey, he's in that space, and so yeah, man, and that's what he does, breaking down opponents, breaking down other opponent receivers, he's over there, mad scientist with Brad White. That's what they do. That's what they do, man. Every little nugget, every little detail, whatever saw this on film. That means and the players are able to, you interview some players. Oh, you got this pick because I saw it on film, and because they're in there watching just as much film as the coaches, because they know.
And what Coach also was talking about, what Coach Collins was talking about, is the terminology and style and how things go about. It's at an NFL level. Mm-hmm. So when Kentucky guys get to the league, there's not that big jump. And, we think about that when we talk about, men's basketball in particular. We look at the NBA guys that that hit the ground running because of how Cal runs his program. So it's very, very similar. On both, for those two sports.
Yeah. Saw the piece on the Athletic from Kyle Tucker that I'm not gonna say, but the new hires, the adjustments, the changes, maybe Cal's making. I'm not. If it's Saban-esque when Nick Saban went through this adjustment period and all that, and John Welsh is getting a lot of praise. Chuck Martin's getting a lot of praise. We saw a little sample there in Canada, so that was good. We'll see what happens with the bigs come, but that was positive stuff. And
but here's my thing with the whole Coach Cal. He's dug his heels in. No, you don't get to the Hall of Fame without adapting. You can have a great run without adapting. And I say that the way he ran things at UMass was successful, but it's different from what he did at Memphis, which is different than what he's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens. Every 10 or 11 years, coaches got to change.
Yeah.
That's you have to change or adapt. So I'm not saying I don't feel it was Wildcat fan, Big Blue, Go Cat 6'9" saying Cal needs to change. He understands Cal's not dumb. Mm-hmm. And so we've seen this. That's how Coach K, the way he won with Zion and company was different than the way he did with Jay Billis, right? And Mark Allery and those guys. Mm-hmm. So coaches change, man. It's okay.
Absolutely.
How Pitino won in Providence was different than he did it in Kentucky. Every team is a little bit different. He's had to tweak things, And so, anyway, I'm here for it. I know a lot of people want to say "I told you so" when it comes to this team, and I'm hoping that the team obviously is good. But yeah, Cal's just doing his thing, man. I ain't worried about that.
I told you so about people say I told you so about this team.
See, he needs to do things X, Y, and Z. He's not listening to what you say. Cal is changing. You are not influencing what he's doing.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. These hires are looking good, and maybe he was either going to do it or not, and he looks like he has decided to do so. But like you said, it's not because of somebody, but not outside of his organization.
And honestly, the biggest thing is it Jimmy's and Joe's or X's and O's? You got to have dudes. Like if you go back and watch the 2012 team, that offense was as vanilla as it came. Just vanilla. But it also helps when you've got very, very good dudes running vanilla plays. Yeah. Back when OJ, I know I can't say it, but OJ was at USC. Student body left, student body right. It doesn't matter. You know what's coming You got to deal with it. It helps if you've got really elite dudes, and I think we've got elite dudes this year.
Yeah. So
that's the difference.
that's
Is we've got more dudes. We've got 5 guys, like we talked about with Tina last week. We got 5 guys on the court at any given time that can attack the basket.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
Yeah. It has. Like Tina said, last year was just throw it in the Oscar. Nothing against Oscar. And it sounds like we knock these people as soon as they leave. It sounds like sounds like Will Levis gets knocked as soon as Devin Leary comes in. I don't think that's what people are trying to do. Is he more accurate? Probably so. But it sounds like you can't just knock this dude that we were so happy to have. Same thing with Oscar. Was he perfect? No. Did he have flaws? Yes. So throwing it into him and things getting stagnant, that did kind of happen. So yeah, it's not like we're just bashing them as soon as they leave, but
right. It's just different, right? You can say that it's different, but hey, Oscar gave us 2 really good years.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean that you can't take that away. But I just think as the way this team is constructed, it's a little bit different. I think we'll see the ball moving a little bit more. And like I said, the biggest thing is you got guys that can put the ball on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got guys that can finish. I'm a big Wheeler guy, but at 5'8", 5 whatever he was, I'm being generous. He was getting to the lane, but it's hard to finish at that size. So we've got guys that can finish in the lane.
Wagner's a grown man, explosive. Gillingham, Edwards. And I don't watch all of them in high school, but he was, shooting threes better than I thought,
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's another dimension that I didn't think he was bringing. So, it's a lot of bases are covered. And maybe they do overhaul. Maybe they do play a little more analytically. But people that don't, the people out there that fuss at long twos. I don't fuss about all that stuff, but like you said, you got guys that can do more stuff, more versatility, more athleticism, more explosion.
Because what changes with basketball in the postseason?
The pace,
the fouls, the touch fouls go away.
Mm-hmm.
Things get tighter because there's more pressure on what people are doing. I mean, look again. You don't see a lot of teams that shoot all these threes that do a lot of winning. You got to have a mix. How did Denver win? Because they got Jokic and he could put his back on somebody and go get a bucket. And dare you do something with it.
Yeah.
Steph, for all his 3-point, he can get to the mid-range. That's where he killed Boston a couple years ago. What did Giannis do against Phoenix a couple years ago?
Just put his head down, man.
Hey, I'm getting to the hoop, and that's what basketball is about. It's great to shoot a lot of threes, but come winning time, go get a bucket. It's just that simple. My Lakers a couple years ago won because LeBron decided I'm going to get to the bucket. AD decided I'm going to get these buckets.
Mm-hmm. Pretty simple.
That's why I love about the Lakers beating Golden State this year in the playoffs. Golden State shot all them threes. Lakers shot all them twos.
Yeah.
Golden State has some beautiful shot charts, though.
Yeah, as they lost in 6.
Hey, I think it was game 1. Yeah, it was game 1. Like Golden State, they were like 55% from 3, and they down 12. I'm like, hey, I know things change, and I'm not trying to be one of those old men, that yell at the clouds or whatever. But again, you and I have talked about this before. I think what analytics has done to sports, it's almost too efficient as far as what the numbers say. But again, like you and I have discussed, I mean, what's going on with the running back position in the NFL? Dude's not getting paid.
No. Yeah.
Yet, you know, some of the most successful teams have great running games. So I don't understand the math.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you running the ball, I think, and I'm quoting Bomani, Jones has talked about this. It means something. Every time we snap the ball, we're getting 3 or 4 yards. We are punching you in the mouth. Right? We are just, our offense is going to push on you. These running backs are just going to come in and we're going to grind you. That to me, there's a psychological benefit to that.
Nope.
Right? Like, I mean, I saw that with my 49ers, you know, after Trent Williams is pushing on you, you know, and Kittle is pushing, you get tired of trying to track down Debo out of the backfield or CMC, right? Like there's a benefit to that. And so I get it. We want to pass the ball around because whatever, but I disagree with it. That's just me. And when it comes to basketball, I'm getting to the hoop and you can't stop me. That to me, there's a benefit to that. I saw it again, going back to the Lakers this year. AD played well defensively in the playoffs. Led everybody in blocks, was just phenomenal. But there was a time and place, I can't remember if it was game 2 or 3. I think it was game 2, where it was like a 5 or 6 point game. And I'm like, come on, LA, steal one in Denver. And Jokic did something, and AD did everything you can do defensively. Jokic got his foot in the paint, and that was a wrap. And that I just was like, well, ain't nothing you could do, man.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk myself out of, oh, that dude's just shooting from 35 feet. Okay. But this dude is putting his chest on, you know, putting his back on my chest and just getting buckets. Oh, man. Oh, man.
14 in first place to grown men, and whoever you guard, I mean, they take you right down to the post.
I'm putting this shoulder in your chest. What you gonna do?
He's 38. He's 38, and you 15, and you just, you know, getting scored on, getting drop step, getting a sky hooked, or whatever the old man was putting on you.
And that's, to me, that's what basketball is missing, is that Tim Duncan. I am not going to run and jump. I'm not going to run and jump that fast, that high, but I'm going to give you buckets. Mm-hmm. And I listen to a lot of these excerpts from some of these NBA players on their podcasts and everything. DeMarcus Cousins got a funny story about Tim Duncan. He was talking trash to Tim Duncan. He's like, the next thing I know, he gave me like 12 straight. Just what are you going to do? That to me is what basketball is about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like we talk about all this stuff, MJ being a killer from the mid-range.
Yeah.
You know what's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's missing a little bit. That maybe that's my old man ranting at the crowd. That's why I've told you before. That's why I love my 49ers, man, because it's like we are just going to beat you up for 60 minutes. And the one team last year, I'm like, there's no team in the NFC I was worried about except Philadelphia. I said that probably about mid-season. Because Philadelphia, they seem to thrive on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, that's the one team. And they barely came to pass, you know. So.
But your boy, let's see where your boy Purdy was cleared to go back to camp, cleared to return to action or something like that.
Yeah, he's ready to go back to practice. Yeah. And, look, man, if it's Purdy, if it's Trey Lance, I'm cool with it. Because, again, the 49ers, we know, healthy quarterback, we NFC championship or better.
Yeah, and I wish I could argue that, but I can't disagree. Can't, you know.
Oh, I meant to tag you in this on Twitter. There was a Cowboys fan like you are that was talking about that was trying to get his jokes off about Purdy and Lance and everything like that. And it was in 49ers Twitter. He's like, buddy, y'all giving Dak $40 million a year to lose to Jimmy G and Brock Purdy. So
He can't beat you. I don't even know why he trying to say anything. We can't say anything.
and look, man, like I've told you before, the 49ers know what they're doing. They're going to have to pay a quarterback at some point.
Mhm.
Whoever rises up this season and becomes the man is going to have to get. But if you can win with a cheap quarterback, you win with a cheap quarterback.
Who's y'all's third string this year? Just in case.
Oh, the dude that was with the Jets, Sam
Flacco?
Darnold. Sam
Oh.
Darnold.
Really?
Yeah.
You got Sam Darnold? Wow.
All he's got to do is be upright. That's all we asking for.
Yeah. You better stay ready. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
this ain't the typical third string job, man. You got to be ready to play. More the Niners.
yeah. You know, and look, I don't know if they'll make the NFC Championship game. There's a lot of football being played between now and then, but I feel just as confident as anybody they can get back.
Mm-hmm. Now, Purdy, did he get hit? Was it fluky the way he got his elbow? Or was it? Did he get hit?
Yeah. He got hit on the elbow,
Yeah.
and he's back a little bit earlier than they kind of anticipated. So again, we'll see.
Mhm.
Trey Lance is going to get his shot simply because they moved a lot of draft capital to get him.
Mhm.
And you don't move on from that without an opportunity to see what he's got, right?
Mhm.
But then once again, but you got Purdy, and you know some people, he Purdy. I'm like, he won like 9 games in a row, and got the NFC Championship game before he got hurt. Like,
Mhm.
And-
Y'all might have won that, you know.
and that's the beauty of it is, look, man, the way we're set up right now, the window's closing, you know, because you got to start paying people. Don't screw this up as your quarterback. You know, we talk about the game manager situation. Don't screw this up. You know, get the ball where it's supposed to be. Because you got weapons.
Oh my God.
You know, like that play against I hate to keep bringing up against your Cowboys, where he just kind of got the ball out there to Kittle and he made that catch, completely changed the complexion of that game.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I've always said you can quote me on this. If you're going to win a Super Bowl, your quarterback's going to have to make about 3 or 4 plays.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the teams with quarterbacks we don't think were very good that won, Brad Johnson in Tampa, Trent Dilfer for the Ravens, whoever else. But if you watch that game film, I'm telling you, there's like 3 or 4 plays that the quarterback has to make. You know, even Peyton Manning in that Super Bowl where, goodness, he had that elite defense, still had to make some plays.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. And I told you, you know, a few years ago, Niners versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl, like, I don't know if Jimmy G can do it. I'm hoping, but I never told you, oh, yeah, he got it. I was like, we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But he missed that 3rd down, and he threw that one pass with his eyes closed. And I was like, well, this not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yep. So, what we got going on, man? Football.
Baseball's baseballing. Good for baseball. I saw they signed Commissioner Manfred to an extension, which is strange to me because it doesn't appear like that dude enjoys baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every time I see him talk, I'm like, is he aware what baseball is? And I'm sure he's but I'm just talking about from the outside looking in. Like, when it comes to Roger Goodell, I can tell he enjoys the game of football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Manfred called the trophy a hunk of metal, from then on, he just, you know, poor choice of words a lot.
And right. And, Adam Silver, look, the commissioner is here to make sure these billionaires make money. Let's not get it twisted. Roger Goodell makes all that money, so people yell at him and not the owners.
Yeah.
But he at least
in a year and gets yelled at and goes home.
But at least he pretends to care about the sport that he's the commissioner of. Now we'll have to have our man Craig Bates come on and talk about Bettman, but look, for $18 million a year, you can boo me every time I show up. That's fine. I don't care. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. He's still robotic and he still looks weird dapping dudes up on draft day, but he enjoys his job. And like you said, he doesn't sound stupid when he says basic stuff about his sport. He has a basic knowledge of what to say and what not to say and when to say it.
And baseball, again, we've talked, with friend of the show, Sarah Sanchez. They made some rule changes and that kind of stuff. But the number one thing is they got to stop the blackouts.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you making it so hard to see your product?
Because you got to, does the NFL still black? Like in Cincinnati, is it blacked out? It's just not, like baseball is really.
It's really blacked out.
Huge regionally. But you black it out a little bit to make the people come in that area or whatever. But why is it so hard to just scale it back to be like everybody else?
I'm telling you, Iowa, we can't see anybody.
Because overlap everybody's market. Everybody's reach overlaps y'all.
Yeah, Kansas City, Minnesota, both Chicago teams, St. Louis. Is there somebody else that's close? There's 5 or 6 teams. Milwaukee would be the other one, I think. Yeah. So we can't watch them.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, y'all just have blink.
No, that's the only time we can catch it, but we can't catch it anywhere else. Well, we can't legally catch it. I ain't gonna put my business on Front Street without the express written consent of the commissioner. But what I'm saying is, because people are like, well, there's ways you can see it, man. No.
It's like WGN, y'all don't get that in Des Moines.
We do get some of those games.
They don't even show the Cubs anymore. But I'm just saying. Right?
Yeah, we used to. Yeah, used to. Yeah, but it's ridiculous.
So, the Bally, Bally Sports got everything. Bally Sports Southwest, Bally Southeast. Y'all ain't got no Bally Midwest, no Bally.
Can't watch anything.
Not the Reds, not the Indians, the Guardians. Excuse me, not the Detroit. None of that.
Now, why the hell would I want to watch the Cincinnati Reds?
I mean, I'm with you. Because now that they're getting good, our fellow Kentuckians are getting on my nerves. These Red fans, and imagine if they make the playoffs or actually win a series, because they just actually led the division at the All-Star break, and you'd have thought they won the World Series. So I'm thinking we're on the same page. They was insufferable to me already, and they ain't done nothing yet.
Good for them.
Now, I like Ellie. Ellie is fun to watch. I got to give him that. Homeboy out there still in first, second, third, and home, and hitting these home runs and doing all that kind of stuff. And he was doing it for the bats. He was with the bats until they called him up, right?
Yeah.
So good for him. But the Reds themselves,
I ain't rooting for nothing coming out of Cincinnati except 71 South. That's the only thing I'm rooting for in Cincinnati. And look, I get it. You want to ride or die, but come on, man. Every time some NFL person says something about Patrick Mahomes, what about Joe Burrow? What about him?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Joe is good. He's great. He's got Cincinnati Bengals. They're respectable. Good for them.
Yeah.
But Mahomes is that dude.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta win something. Everybody's upset at Mahomes. I'm like, dude, balls out. It's one of those things. If you're a homer, that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
But there ain't no conspiracy to keep you from winning.
It's just been so long since we had to worry about Cincinnati being good at anything. All of this clamoring coming out of nowhere, I guess it kind of I wasn't expecting it, and it's already getting old.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if I'm speaking for you, but I'm like, okay, y'all won 11 in a row. Great. Okay, y'all in first place. Good. You're contending. You can actually be a buyer at the trade deadline for the first time in
a generation.
But
good for them, man.
Yeah.
I told you when it comes to thank you for Cincinnati fans for making me a diehard 49ers fan after Super Bowl 23. I told you I ain't forgot about that kid, Andy, that told me that the Bengals was going to shut down Jerry Rice. That's what he told me. And I went back and told that kid he was a liar.
Single greatest game in the history of the Super Bowl.
Look, man, good for Cincinnati. You know, I'm not on that baseball narcotic. I'm kind of on the outside. I'm not diehard anything since my beloved Expos have disappeared. I'm tagging along to the Cubs, but we're out on the Cubs right now just because ownership is playing that thing like they ain't got no money.
I don't know if you could ruin the goodwill of a championship any faster than they did, especially when you waited 100 years for it.
Man, that's the next 30 for 30. I talk about it with Kate all. I'm like, okay, you're the ownership group that finally brought a championship to Chicago, to the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
You would think you can skate on that forever. But the way they went about it, man, just it's ridiculous. Like we've talked about all the time, these owners are trying to make money. They ain't trying to win. If they win, cool. But for the most part, they're not trying to win. And the crazy thing is, if the Cubs are winning, they're going to make even more money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the thing is, if you are at, again, kind of repeating ourselves, if you're at one of those premier places that's going to print money, you may as well try to win because you're going to make money regardless, but you're going to make more if you win.
Mm-hmm. You know,
that's the thing is, you know, I'm going to call it Staples. You know, Staples is going to be packed even more when you got the Western Conference Finals happening. Mm-hmm. Invest in the team, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing in New York, James Dolan?
Yeah, he's got a band. I mean, he's got a little singing group he's got, and he's kicking Oakley out of the arena. That's about all he's doing.
Well, I remember when we were doing this show, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and we were talking about it. I was like, I don't know what my 49ers are doing. No clue. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't know what the Lakers are doing. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I'm finally to the place with my professional sports teams, both of them. Hey, you get to the Western Conference Finals, you get beat by Jokic. All right, not the best, but hey, you get to the NFC Championship game, you're down to your fourth string quarterback, and he get hurt. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, like sometimes that's the breaks, but I know they're trying to win.
Yeah,
they ain't trying to launder money. Mm-hmm. Like these pickleball games. I saw something said like 70 million people playing pickleball. I said, that's a damn lie. 70 million people playing pickleball. More people playing pickleball than pick up basketball. The math ain't mathing, man. The math ain't. No, I don't believe that.
What channel is it? It's like CBS or something? Because they're carrying the league now, right?
I flipped by it one Saturday. Like, what the hell is this? Money laundering, Vinny. I'd rather watch the Big Three.
Yeah, I've been missing that too. But yeah, I like the Big Three. I enjoy that. The pickleball is just like tennis without the running on the small court with the.
I don't know. I ain't doing it.
It ain't that bad. I mean, I've played it a couple times. It's fine.
I tried to play tennis one time, but my lateral quickness has never been a big attribute. I can't change direction. If I'm going, I'm just gonna list over to the side.
So they move you back and forth. It's over there. It's just over there. It's like, well.
Hey, I had to yell at some kids the other day. I'm running in the neighborhood. I'm like, y'all got to move because I can't change. I can't change what I'm doing.
That's like being on roller skates. That's like me on roller skates, man.
If I'm going straight, I'm good. But I change direction for what? And rip something? I must have been looking bad the other day. Some little kids had a little lemonade stand. I waved to them. I came back through it. They gave me some lemonade. I said, "Do I look that bad out here?" But they were very nice.
Hey, that's all right. They just say he looked tired and thirsty.
So I was like, "Oh, I don't have any money," so I came back to the house get some money for him. And Kate said, "Is it good lemonade?" I said, "Look, I was at mile 2.5. It's 90 degrees. It was wet and it was colder than room temperature.
Yeah.
So I'll take it."
Absolutely. Now, how's we was talking the other day, Lauren, is the season started already with the field hockey?
No, she's excited. They're going through their training camp right now.
Okay.
And she's playing with some older kids, and they had a couple of scrimmages. She scored a couple of goals. And it's great. She texts me all the time, and she's very excited because she scored against juniors and seniors, and she's like, I think I can do this. I'm like, well, there you go. So I'm actually going to go in a couple of weeks, go in because the season starts in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
School and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go in the weekend of the 18th and 19th, and I'm gonna catch some games. And I'm gonna go and be ridiculous and cheer her on.
There you go.
Because she's doing fantastic with it. So
Atherton is where she's at.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So she's doing fantastic with that, and I'm ready to be a field hockey dad.
There you go. So season's about to start. School's about to start. It's about to be on. She's already making her mark in these scrimmages, scoring on some veterans, and so everything's sounding good.
I was like, hey, let them know who you are, baby.
Good stuff. Yeah, that's and then when the schedule comes out, you'll see it to be Donna Smith. I know y'all be looking to see when the girls go at it. I know you
yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. But no, but everything is going good. Watching the Women's World Cup. I watched America take on Vietnam. Go USA. They've got the Netherlands. Is it tonight? Or maybe tomorrow night. But they got the Netherlands coming up. I like watching soccer. Got started with the girls who were watching soccer when they were younger. America's really, really good, going for the third straight World Cup, which is hard to do. We know how difficult three-peats are. So if they beat the Netherlands, that's going to be a step in the right direction to get them ready for, the knockout stage.
I don't know if I'm looking right. This match prep schedule, I see the sibling matchup looking like the end of August, man. If I'm looking at it right.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. The craziest thing about the Women's World Cup team, Dennis Rodman's daughter is on it.
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
What's her name?
Her last name is Rodman, but I can't remember what her first name is.
Ooh.
But I was like, that Rodman. So
what channel is that? Come on, NBC.
No, I think was it Fox? I gotta check. I watched Women's World Cup.
Let me scroll right quick to see. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, sure is.
Today at 8. So I'm gonna watch them play the Netherlands. I'm pretty excited about that. I don't mess with the Dutch.
Yeah, who's on right now? Somebody
You know,
scored
you
four
just
right.
got to come up with random reasons to hate the other team, like like when America plays Germany. Well, I mean, obviously, but I always like this is for Hogan's Heroes. You play Russia. This is for Apollo Creed. We ain't forgot.
So for the Netherlands, what we got? What we got?
I don't know. Is the Netherlands? Is that Dutch?
I think so. The Netherlands. Amsterdam, and I think that is Dutch.
I don't know. I'll come up with something, but I like to hate. I'm always pro America.
Well, who is Danish then?
Who's that? I have no idea. I feel bad. I don't know anything about Europe because they like. What about? I don't know, man.
I'm gonna have to Google that now. If you're Danish,
But and I apologize because I know a lot of folks are Europeans.
I know that.
But
Danish, you're from Denmark. Okay, I knew that, but I couldn't think of it now. So if you're Danish,
but the Dutch is Holland, right? I don't know. I need somebody to be like, I'm 1/4 Dutch. Like, okay, all right. I don't know how the math works on that, but whatever you say.
If you're Dutch, you're from the Netherlands. All right. So Netherlands is Dutch. Denmark is Danish. Holland. Now you don't throw a big curveball now. Yeah, let me go and figure that out. If you're from Holland, you are Holland. What do you call? The people of Holland are referred to as Hollanders in both Dutch and English. Though in English, this is now unusual.
They speak Dutch in Holland. Look, man, I don't. You're making me think too much. I just want to go out and win.
Dutch is from Netherlands. If you're from Holland, it says you're a Hollander. And Danish, you're from Denmark. I knew some of the capitals over there. I knew some of the capitals, but I couldn't. In Copenhagen, Denmark, I knew that. Amsterdam, the Netherlands, I knew that. Yeah. Just got confused, man. I was blanking on that stuff. But yeah, 15 minutes until the match starts. I was about to say tip off, but that ain't right.
I'm gonna watch because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
USA, baby.
That kind of slipped by me. I have, it's just that time of year. I watch a little bit of baseball, not much. A little bit of some SEC football reruns, but just haven't been. What about this TBT, the basketball tournament? You watched a little bit of that? The college teams. You watch a little bit of that every now and then.
I saw some of the clips. Louisville played somebody. I saw Archie Goodwin, a clip of him dunking. So good for them. Good for them. I think it's great. I'm probably not going to watch a lot of it, but good for them.
Mm-hmm.
The Louisville team played at Freedom Hall, so good for them.
They play Auburn or something. But
yeah,
I watch more of that. I watch more of the Big Three, like you said, than I will the basketball tournament. I watch more of both of those than I do USFL or XFL. The spring football thing, I just never. This NBA playoffs, March Madness, I just never. The Super Bowl is just over, and I just don't hop over and watch the spring football league. I just haven't got into that at all. So I watch more alternative basketball than I do football. But yeah, I like what Cube was doing. A couple times I started to try to go. I moved with Lexington, Charlotte, try to catch it. I haven't caught a Big Three game, but I'd go watch it. When I check the schedule, if it works out, I'm gonna still try to catch it one of these times. Yeah, I'm happy to, see Cube do that. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
to see all the names he's gotten, Nancy Lieberman Klein and Clyde Drexler and Gary Payton, and, you know, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf still tearing the league up. My man Katino Mobley for the Rockets. I mean, you know, so
Looking like somebody's daddy.
man, he's 50 years old now, man. They all got the gray hair and the gray beards. And it's just facts of life. You know. Mine gray too. If I can't grow one, but the hair that I shaved was white. So, you know.
Happens to all of us.
Yeah.
Couple of more weeks, I'll be turning 46. So there you go.
That's right. That's right. On what's that, Saturday, right? It's on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, a week from Saturday.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Because it's you. Share it with my grandfather, my dad's dad, August 5th. Both of y'all on the same day. Yeah, 8-5. Yeah, man, that's right. You always break it in for me because you always get there first. You always hit those milestones first because you
But you get there, so
almost got a 3-month head start there. So.
but you get there eventually. Let's not do that.
Yeah, I'll join you in a couple months. I do. But you and Tom Brady break it in for me. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, that's a murderer's row, man.
It's TB. Is he August the 3rd, August 4th?
Brady's the 3rd.
Okay.
Obama's the 4th, and I'm the 5th. So that's a pretty good string right there.
Mm-hmm. Now I want to say the late Mike Pratt was August 4th too. I want to think he was right in there.
I don't know, but the other big one on August the 5th is Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon.
All right, that's popular, folks. There y'all go. August 5th. That's some heavy hitters now. Mm-hmm. And you're the most famous Seneca alum, you know. So it's just you, and you, Wes Unseld, Diane Sawyer. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, that's about how it goes.
Oh man, well, we had fun chopping it up this week. I think next week we got Corey Price supposed to hop on.
Always fun with Corey. He's always the stats man. He's back doing his stuff for Kentucky football, so that's excellent.
Mm-hmm. So we had fun talking with him. He's on there around the shots with y'all. He don't get to say much on there, so the panel was just kind of crowds him out.
he doesn't have any wild enough takes. He's not loud enough like I am to get on there, but he's good with the numbers. So
yeah,
always good.
I know he's excited. You know, he's up there in the box with Tom Leach and Jeff Coro, and I think, and I'll ask him when he comes on. I believe we were the first podcast he ever came on, ever. When we had him on 4 or 5, however many years ago it was, I think we was the first show he ever even was a guest on. So that was pretty cool. And like you said, it's cool to see what he's going on to do. And in the box. So getting close to football time, and we talk a little football, talk about whatever your Niners do or don't do, and whatever Rob Manfred does or don't do next week, and whatever happens with the World Cup, all that as we inch on closer to football, man.
Absolutely. And closer to field hockey as well. So there you go.
That's right. So, man, we had fun. Thanks to UTV. Thanks to Coach Chris Collins, man. That was always fun.
A lot of knowledge on that one.
Mm-hmm. It'll be up on the YouTube and the Spotify and the Roku and wherever you want to watch or listen. Thanks to the BS3 network being started and everybody. We get to be on here and do this every week, man. Going on 10 years and just rolling on, like Coach said. Try to keep this thing rolling.
Absolutely.
So I will scroll down and hit this outro button, man. You and the missus stay cool up there.
Do the same, man.
Get some more good lemonade on them runs. Watch out for all that humidity producing corn up there.
There you go. The corn sweats.
We catch everybody next week on Cats Talk Wednesday. We'll see y'all later.